The first day of school after summer break was supposed to be calm for Emma and her younger brother Jacob. They had spent the last 3 months working hard on their family farm, waking up before sunrise, tending to the animals, and harvesting vegetables under the blazing sun. The quiet countryside was their world, a world of responsibility, sweat, and pride. But when Emma stepped into the crowded hallway of Lincoln High, she knew instantly that the peace of the farm did not exist here. Whispers followed them down the hall. Snickers echoed behind their backs. "Farm girl," someone muttered. "Cow smell," another sneered. Jacob, only 14, clenched his fists and tried to keep his eyes forward. Emma, older by 2 years, kept her face expressionless. She had learned long ago that reacting to insults only fed the fire. But she also knew something her classmates could never imagine. Before she returned home last year, she had completed her Navy SEAL training. No one in the school had the faintest idea who they were mocking. By lunchtime, the teasing turned crueler. A group of boys cornered Jacob near the cafeteria doors, knocking his tray to the floor. Mashed potatoes splattered across his shoes as they laughed, shoving him back and forth like he was a toy. Emma arrived just in time to see her brother's cheeks burn red, his jaw trembling with humiliation. She wanted to step in, but she held herself back. This wasn't a battlefield. This was school. She reminded herself. Jacob needed strength too, not just protection. Still, she couldn't ignore the way the bullies looked at her. A mixture of curiosity and cruelty. "You're his sister." "Huh," one of them said, smirking. "Guess that makes you the queen of the barn." The group burst into laughter. Emma didn't respond. She met their eyes with calm intensity, the same way she had stared down challenges in SEAL training when her instructors pushed her past the point of exhaustion. The boys shifted uncomfortably, though they didn't know why. There was something unsettling about her silence. That night, back at the farm, Jacob finally let the tears out. He slammed his fist against the barn wall. "Why don't you ever say anything, Emma? Why don't you stop them? They treat us like dirt." His voice cracked with anger and shame. Emma placed a hand on his shoulder, her grip steady. "Because winning isn't about throwing the first punch," she said softly. "It's about knowing who you are. They want to make you forget your worth. Don't give them that power." But Jacob shook his head. "You don't understand," he muttered. "You're not the one they're picking on." The next week, things got worse. The bullies spread rumors that Jacob was weak, that Emma was strange, that their family smelled like animals. They cornered Jacob again, this time shoving him into a locker so hard he fell to the ground. Emma saw it happen, and something inside her shifted. She realized she had been trying to protect her brother by staying quiet, but silence had only made the bullies louder. The final straw came on Friday afternoon during gym class. The same boys surrounded Jacob on the basketball court, pushing him down when he tried to play. "Stay on the sidelines, farm boy," one of them jeered, raising his fist. But before the punch landed, Emma was there. She moved faster than anyone could follow. With controlled precision, she caught the bully's wrist mid-swing and twisted it gently but firmly, forcing him to drop his arm. Her voice was calm, steady, and dangerously quiet. "You will not touch my brother again." The gym fell silent. Nobody had ever seen Emma move like that, so strong, so certain. Another boy stepped forward, but in an instant Emma sidestepped him, using a simple takedown maneuver that left him on the floor, gasping for breath but unharmed. The coach ran over shouting, but Emma had already released her grip. She didn't hurt them. She didn't need to. The look in her eyes was enough to freeze the room. The bullies scrambled back, their bravado gone. Whispers spread like wildfire. "Did you see that? What was that? She's not just some farm girl." After school, Jacob stared at her in awe. "Emma, what was that? Where did you learn to do all that?" She hesitated for a long moment, then finally told him the truth. About the training. About the grueling months where she pushed past limits most people couldn't even imagine. About the nights she thought she couldn't go on, but did anyway. Jacob's mouth dropped open. You're a Navy SEAL." Emma nodded. "And so much more than that. But I don't want people to fear me. I want them to respect themselves enough not to hurt others." The following week, the bullies avoided Jacob. The rumors stopped. Slowly, other students began to see Emma and Jacob differently, not as the poor farm kids, but as people who carried a quiet strength. One girl even approached Jacob in the hallway and apologized for laughing at him before. It wasn't an overnight change, but it was a start. That night, Emma and Jacob sat on the porch of their farmhouse watching the sunset burn gold over the fields. "I get it now," Jacob said quietly. "It's not about fighting back. It's about knowing you're stronger inside than anyone who tries to break you." Emma smiled, wrapping an arm around his shoulders. "Exactly. And one day, when you're ready, you'll show them your strength too. But not to hurt them, to remind them they can be better." The farm was still quiet. The world was still harsh. But Jacob no longer walked with his head down. He walked beside his sister, knowing the truth: bullies thrive on fear, but true power comes from discipline, courage, and never forgetting your worth. And that was the lesson Emma carried with her everywhere. The strength to stand tall, not just for herself, but for those who needed her most. The first bell of the new school year echoed through the crowded halls of Lincoln High. Students chattered about summer vacations, new clothes, and social media updates. But Emma Carter and her younger brother Jacob walked in quietly, their boots still muddy from the morning chores on their family farm. Jacob carried an old backpack with one strap barely holding on. Emma held her books close to her chest, her calm gaze scanning the room. To everyone else, they looked like just another pair of farm kids, quiet, modest, out of place. But Emma carried a secret far heavier than her books. She had endured the world's toughest military training. "Hey, country boy," a voice jeered. A group of boys blocked Jacob's path. "Did you milk the cows before school, or did your sister do it for you?" Laughter erupted. Jacob lowered his head, his ears burning. Emma placed a hand gently on his arm, steering him past the group without a word. But the bullies weren't done. They followed, throwing comments like daggers. "Look at those boots, straight out of the barn! Careful, you'll step in hay!" The laughter stung, but Emma's face remained unreadable. She had learned long ago that silence was more powerful than shouting. At lunch, things escalated. Jacob carried his tray, hoping to find an empty corner to sit in. But one of the bullies stuck out a foot, tripping him. The tray clattered to the floor, mashed potatoes splattering everywhere. The cafeteria erupted in laughter. "Oops," the bully smirked. "Gwis farm boy doesn't know how to walk." Jacob's fists clenched. His pride screamed for him to fight back, but fear rooted him in place. Emma walked over slowly, her calm eyes meeting the bullies. She knelt, helping her brother pick up the tray, ignoring the laughter. "Come on, Jacob," she whispered. "Don't give them what they want." That night at the farm, Jacob exploded. "Why don't you ever stand up for us? Why do you just let them walk all over us?" His voice cracked with anger. "You're strong, Emma. I know you are. But you just take it." Emma looked at him, her jaw tightening. She wanted to tell him everything. About the freezing waters of training, about crawling through mud with her body screaming in pain, about the moment she was declared a Navy SEAL. But she wasn't ready. "Not yet, Jacob," she said softly. "Real strength isn't about showing off. It's about knowing when to fight and when to walk away." But Jacob shook his head. "That's easy for you to say. You're not the one they're shoving into lockers." The next day, the bullying got worse. Jacob was shoved, mocked, and laughed at again. Emma felt her patience wearing thin. Every muscle in her body screamed to step in, to shut them down. But she resisted until the gym incident. During basketball practice, the bullies circled Jacob, pushing him around. One raised his fist. "Stay down, farm boy, or you'll get hurt." The moment the punch swung, Emma's instincts took over. She was across the court in seconds. With a single motion, she caught the bully's wrist mid-air. Her grip was like steel. Gasps filled the gym as she twisted his arm just enough to make him yelp. Not enough to break it, but enough to show she could. "You will not touch my brother again," she said, her voice low and steady. The gym froze. Another boy lunged at her, but Emma sidestepped effortlessly, using a simple takedown that left him flat on the floor. She hadn't even broken a sweat. The silence was deafening. The bullies scrambled back, their bravado shattered. Whispers filled the gym. "Did you see that? What was that? She's not just a farm girl." After school, Jacob stared at her with wide eyes. "Emma, how did you do that?" Emma finally told him. About the training. About the battles she had fought within herself. About the nights she wanted to quit, but didn't. Jacob's mouth dropped open. "You're a Navy SEAL." "Yes," Emma said simply. "But it's not about what I can do to them. It's about what I can teach you, that you don't have to fear anyone." From that day on, the bullying stopped. Not because Emma hurt anyone, but because everyone now saw her differently. They saw the quiet girl who carried unimaginable strength within her. They saw Jacob walk taller, no longer cowering in the shadows. Weeks later, one of the girls who used to laugh at Jacob approached him. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "I shouldn't have joined in." It wasn't much, but it was the beginning of change. One evening, as the sun painted the fields gold, Emma and Jacob sat on their farmhouse porch. Jacob leaned against her shoulder. "I get it now," he whispered. "Strength isn't about fighting back. It's about knowing who you are.